Hi there, this is Vadim, and in this quick video, I would like to help you get ready and pass Amazon Online Employment Assessment Test. We will look at the most common questions and answers asked during the test, and I'll also share with you solutions and explanations. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at the interesting and at the same time tricky question which validates your knowledge of business math. Jack's phone provider charges him $30 for the first 45 minutes of calls each month, plus 75 cents for every additional full minute of calling after that. If Jack's total bill last month was $41.25, approximately how many minutes did he spend calling? And you have four different choices: 53 minutes, 57 minutes, 59 minutes, or 60 minutes. Do you think you know the answer? We will be reviewing the answer next, but this is the right time to potentially pause the video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Now let's jump straight to the solution. If you look at the original question, you will quickly understand that Jack's phone provider charges split into two parts: fixed charges, $30 every month for the first 45 minutes, and then variable part of the bill, which charges 75 cents for each additional minute. To solve this challenge, you need to make an assumption that if Jack is charged more than $30, it means that he spent at least 45 minutes calling, and in this case, more than 45 minutes calling. To find the total amount of time, we need to subtract the fixed charge from the total of $41.25, and that would be an equivalent of $41.25 minus 30, which would be $11.25. In the next step, we need to divide $11.25 by 75 cents per minute, which is the cost of each additional minute in the variable portion of the bill. $11.25 divided by 75 cents is equal 15, which means 15 more minutes of calling after the initial 45 minutes. So the correct answer is 45 plus 15 equals 60, and the correct answer is D, 60. Hopefully you've nailed this question. But in case you're looking for similar questions from the real test, make sure to check out my ebook in the description section of this video. Let's look at the interesting and at the same time tricky question which we frequently see on the test. Determine the next number in the sequence, and you have sequence of numbers 11, 19, 16, 19, 21, 19, and you need to determine the next number out of the four choices provided. Choice A, 24, choice B, 26, choice C, 37, and choice D, 42. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. And now, let's jump straight to the solution to solve this challenge together. Before we jump to the answer, I want to pinpoint one thing here in the sequence. Number 19 here is repeated 3 times, as number 2, number 4, and number 6. Now let's go ahead and jump to the solution. This sequence might look impossible to solve, but if you remove number 19, you come up with the very logical and very simple sequence. You have 11, 16, and 21. You see that each next number increases by 5, and numbers 19 are just the distractions from numbers in between. So the next number would be 21 plus 5 would be 26. So the correct choice here is choice B, 26. Let's recap. A lot of times you might see distraction numbers in the sequence of numbers. You need to ignore them and use the numbers that are not consistently repeated through the sequence. In our case, the actual sequence is incrementing by 5. 11 plus 5 is 16, 16 plus 5 is 21, and 21 plus 5 would be 26. So the correct choice here is choice B, 26. Let's look at the interesting question which tests your knowledge of time as well as calculations. George left his house at 3 p.m. on Friday and traveled 867 miles before arriving at his desired destination at 8 a.m. the following day. Assuming that his home and destination are in the same time zone, what was George's average speed in miles per hour over the course of his trip? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 47 miles per hour. Choice B, 51 miles per hour. Choice C, 53 miles per hour. And choice D, 58 miles per hour. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own before we jump to the solution. And now let's go ahead and reveal the answer as we will solve this challenge together. Let's first get the facts straight to better solve this challenge. We need to get information about distance traveled, which is an equivalent of 867 miles, which is given to us as part of the problem. And now we need to calculate the total time that George spent traveling. And the best way to calculate it would be calculate separately time traveled between 3 p.m. and 12 a.m., which is 9 hours, as well as from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. next day, which is 8 hours. So the total time George spent traveling is 9 hours plus 8 hours, which is an equivalent of 17 hours. So now let's focus on the average speed in miles per hour. To calculate miles per hour, we need to divide 867 miles by 17 hours, which would be an equivalent of 51 miles per hour. So the correct choice here is choice B, 51. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Pattern questions are typically the trickiest in the tests. They typically require you to develop a formula to understand the next number in the sequence. We're looking at exactly this type of question. Determine the next number in this sequence. You have a sequence of 5 numbers and you need to determine number 6 in the sequence. Let's look at them. 7, 13, 25, 49, 97, and then you need to determine number 6 out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 185, choice B, 187, choice C, 191, and choice D, 193. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Do you think you discovered the answer? Let's see if we can come up with the solution together. Sometimes the solution is not obvious, but in case of every pattern, there is a formula behind it. Let's look at the formula for this particular pattern, in which we will have nn as a new number, pn as a previous number, and then calculating new number, we will use formula previous number multiplied by 2 minus 1. So let's calculate next number in the pattern. 7 multiplied by 2 minus 1 is equal 13. 13 multiplied by 2 minus 1 is equal 25. 25 multiplied by 2 minus 1 is equal 50 minus 1, which is equal to 49. And 97 multiplied by 2 minus 1 would be 194 minus 1, which would be an equivalent of 193. So the correct answer here is choice D, 193. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of challenges on the test. Let's look at employment assessment test question, which frequently used to assess your knowledge of math. Vincent jogged at a rate of 6 miles per hour for 10 minutes and then walked at the rate of 3 miles per hour for 20 minutes. Which of the following gives the average rate in miles per hour at which he walked over the 30-minute span? You need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 4 miles per hour. Choice B, 5 miles per hour. Choice C, 6 miles per hour. And choice D, 7 miles per hour. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. What's tricky in this problem is the fact that Vincent moved at different rates at different time durations. During the first 10 minutes of jogging, Vincent went 6 miles per hour, meaning that he ran at the rate of 6 miles every 60 minutes, or 1 mile every 10 minutes. And this is calculated as 60 divided by 6, which is an equivalent of 10. Since we know he ran for 10 minutes, we also know that he covered 1 mile over this period. During the next 20 minutes, Vincent walked at the rate of 3 miles per hour, or 3 miles every 60 minutes, or 1 mile every 20 minutes. 60 divided by 3 is an equivalent of 20. If he walked at the rate where he would have covered a mile every 20 minutes, and then walked for a duration of 20 minutes, this means that he walked 1 mile. 1 mile plus 1 mile equals 2 miles. So he covered 2 miles in the first 30 minutes, which is calculated as 1 mile for jogging plus 1 mile for walking. We're looking for his rate of miles per hour, and if Vincent went 2 miles in 30 minutes, he would have traveled 4 miles in 60 minutes. So the correct answer here is choice A, 4 miles per hour. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of challenges on the test. Let's take a look at some planning tips to see if they might be helpful for you to get ready and pass the test. Let me share with you how to get prepared and use your time effectively during preparation for the test. One of the first things you need to do is determine what types of tests are conducted for the type of job that you're applying for. Typically, this information is available from employers, job application, and sometimes from the test providers. After you understand what types of tests are conducted, you need to realistically assess your situation to determine how well are you prepared for the test. You might have applied for this type of job in the past, and you might have taken the tests in the past, which will give you a good idea of what you're looking for. Sometimes things might be very new to you, and you need to understand what is the testable material, how do you prepare for the test, what are the preparation sources. Another important consideration here is how much time do you have to get ready. And at that time, you need to create a plan, potentially put it on a weekly schedule to determine how much time can you spend and allocate for test preparation. You also need to make sure you make study a priority and you close the gaps strategically. For example, if you know what the gaps are in the materials that you don't know, you want to make sure you target those particular areas that's specifically highlighted on the test. You also need to make sure that you strategically use shortcuts. You might realize that you don't have all the time to prepare as fully as you would like, and you might need to omit some materials to minimize the damage. The key is to make sure that you omit material that may be not used as part of the test, or less likely to be used during the test. You also want to make sure that you set a reasonable schedule for the preparation. You want to make sure that you put on a schedule all other commitments that you have, and then find the available time to get ready and prepare for the test. And the last but not least step is to execute with the discipline and reevaluate as needed. If you find out that something is not working, it might be a good time to reevaluate and see how you can achieve target results and still complete all the goals that you set for yourself. Let's look at the tricky employment assessment test question, which validates your knowledge of business math and numerical reasoning. Grant earns $1,500 per month, but always has to spend 50% on the bills which are due at the end of each month. Out of his total bills, a third are dedicated toward utility expenses, and out of all utility expenses, a fifth are comprised of heating costs. How much did Grant spend specifically on heating bills? And you're presented with the list of 4 possible choices. Choice A, $35. Choice B, $45. Choice C, $50. And choice D, $75. Do you know the answer? Now might be the right time for you to pause the video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue and see if we can solve this challenge together. We will solve this problem in multiple steps. If Grant's monthly salary is $1,500, half of his monthly salary would be $750, which is calculated as dividing 1,500 by 2. And this half goes toward bills. A third of total bill payments would be $250, and this is calculated as 750 divided by 3. And the fifth of the total utility expenses would be $50, which is calculated as 250 divided by 5. So the correct choice here is choice C, $50. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the interesting question we frequently see as part of employment assessment test, which validates your knowledge of money borrowing, business math, and numerical reasoning. When buying his new car, Hugh could either pay the full cost of the car in the amount of $14,800, and he can pay it upfront and have full ownership of the car, or immediately pay $600 down payment and borrow the rest from the bank with the interest, and pay a $350 monthly payment for 44 months. Hugh decided to use the second option. How much money would he have saved if he decided to use the first option? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, $800. Choice B, $1,200. Choice C, $1,450. Or choice D, $1,650. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can come up with the solution together. Hugh has 2 different options. Either pay for the car in full which would cost him $14,800, or use second option to finance the car. On the second option, he would have to pay $600 upfront plus $15,400 in monthly payments, which is calculated as 350 multiplied by 44, which exactly matches $15,400. So 600 plus $15,400 is an equivalent of $16,000. So Hugh's second option, when he pays $16,000, will cost him $1,200 more than his first option in the amount of $14,800. So the correct choice here is choice B, $1,200. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the tricky pattern question, which requires you to calculate the next number in the sequence. Determine the next number in pattern. And you have series of numbers: 2, 4, 12, 48, 240. So what would be the next number? Choice A, $1,200. Choice B, $1,250. Choice C, $1,360. Or choice D, $1,440. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. As you might be well aware, the key to solve pattern types questions is to calculate the formula. In formula, you determine how next number is calculated. In our case, we would need to have two values. We will use n as the position of the number in the sequence. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we have 5 numbers. And next number would be calculated as previous number multiplied by n plus 1. So if first number is 2, then it is multiplied by 2. For example, you see 2 multiplied 1 plus 1 equals 4. The second number is multiplied by 3, and then the third number is multiplied by 4, and so on. So our number calculations would be, for the second number, 2 multiplied by 1 plus 1 equals 4. For the next number, 4 multiplied by 3 equals 12. For the next number, 12 multiplied by 4 equals 48. For the next one, 48 multiplied by 5 equals 240. And for the last number is 240 multiplied by 6 equals 1,440. The correct answer here is D, 1,440. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let me share with you some tips and tricks that work for me on how to best get prepared for the assessment test. Number one, and probably the most important, is practicing in advance before the test. How can you do it? For example, you can build your test habits just by going and practicing answering questions and answers. It will build a habit of you answering the questions. It exposes you to different types of questions, and some of them might be exactly or very similar questions that you see on the test. It also allows you to save time during the preparation and during the test itself, because once you know what types of questions you have, you're not going to be surprised or will not see the new types of questions that you didn't expect. And surprises is what typically catches you off guard and makes your life harder during the test. Number two is getting a study guide, outline, or training preparation, ebook, or some other material that will help you to get ready and pass the test. This is very important because it provides you a system to get ready and pass the test. Another important point, small incremental improvements daily are much more important than delaying everything until the last day before the test and doing some preparation right before the test. If you stick to regular schedule, you will absorb material much better, and also it allows you incremental improvements toward your goal. Maintaining positive attitude and competitiveness is also extremely important and helps some people to get ready. For example, you can set a goal for yourself, whatever works for you. Maybe a goal might be do better than other candidates. So some positive goal that will keep you motivated and keeps you going and get ready for the test. Let's look at the interesting employment assessment test question, which validates your knowledge of percentages. 2 years ago, Lawrence started the job earning an annual salary of $80,000. 1 year ago, she received a raise that increased her salary by 15%. And this year, she just received another salary raise, boosting her new wage 10%. What is Lawrence's new annual salary? And you need to select out of a list of 4 choices. Choice A, $101,200. Choice B, $102,000. Choice C, $103,333. And choice D, $104,480. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time for you to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. To calculate Lauren's new salary, we need to take her initial salary in the amount of $80,000 and then increase it by 15% and then increase it again by 10%. So the first increase, when we multiply $80,000 by 115, which represents 15% increase, would be $92,000. And second raise increased her salary by another 10%, which would be an equivalent of $92,000 multiplied by 110, which would equal $101,200. So the correct answer here is choice A, $101,200. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of challenges on the test. Let's look at the interesting employment assessment test question, which validates your knowledge of data conversion, business math, and numerical reasoning. Jane went to the grocery store yesterday and bought 36 pounds of watermelon. Today she went back and purchased 1/4 of the amount that she got yesterday. Approximately, how many total kilograms of watermelon did she buy over the course of the last 2 days? There's a hint here. 1 pound is equals 0.454 kilograms. And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 18.879. Choice B, 19.047. Choice C, 20.412. And choice D, 21.462. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can come up with the correct answer together. We'll solve this challenge in multiple steps. On the first day, she bought 36 pounds of watermelon. And on the second day, she purchased 1/4 of that amount. So on the second day, she purchased 36 divided by 4, 9 pounds of watermelon, which means that she purchased 45 pounds of watermelon total over the course of 2 days, which is calculated as 36 plus 9 equals 45 pounds. Because 1 pound is equals 0.454 kilograms, the total amount of watermelon kilograms can be calculated as 45 multiplied by the conversion rate, which would be equal 20.412 kilograms. So the correct answer is choice C, 20.412 kilograms. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. Thanks for watching.